Hello Year 7, this is a poem about identity as usual. Also it's particularly to do with growing old, but don't worry, it's not miserable because growing old isn't miserable, I'm here to tell you. um, anyway, look, these elderly people are choosing their favourite food, hobby and travel destination. Write down which you think each of them would choose based on your knowledge of old people. It might be based on your grandparents or other old people you know. What do you think they'd choose? So, our learning objective today is to read and analyse Warning by Jenny Joseph, and the title is Warning by Jenny Joseph. What do you think they might have chosen? Stews and porridge for their food, coach tours to Scotland and Wisley Gardens for their travel destinations, knitting and painting by numbers. Could have been any of those. I wonder what you had. It'd be interesting. It would probably tell us a little bit about what you think growing old is going to be like. These are some lines from the poem. We're going to read it in its entirety in a bit, but I want you to just have a think about how you might respond, how you might think you would respond to being old. So the first line is, "When I'm an old woman, I shall spend my pension on blank." So write out those sentences and fill in those blanks with just a personal response from yourself. You know, what do you think? What will you be like when you're old? Here's the actual poem. So I attached it to Classcharts, and it's on the slide here, obviously. So here we are, warning. When I am an old woman, I shall wear purple with a red hat which doesn't go and doesn't suit me. And I shall spend my pension on brandy and summer gloves and satin sandals, and say we've no money for butter. I shall sit down on the pavement when I'm not tired and gobble up samples in shops and press alarm bells and run my stick along the public railings and make up for the sobriety of my youth. I shall go out in my slippers in the rain and pick flowers in other people's gardens and learn to spit. You can wear terrible shirts and grow more fat and eat 3 pounds of sausages at a go, or only bread and pickle for a week, and hoard pens and pencils and beer mats and things in boxes. But now we must have clothes that keep us dry and pay our rent and not swear in the street and set a good example for the children. We must have friends to dinner and read the papers. But maybe I ought to practice a little now, so people who know me are not too shocked and surprised when suddenly I am old and start to wear purple. So we've read that through. Try to understand what it is about. Don't worry about words that you don't know. Just focus on what you do understand. And write a couple of sentences that sum up what you think that poem's about. This poem's about, rather. So what we've talked about the importance of titles before. Why do you think this poem is called Warning? A warning lets people know about future events that will be unpleasant or dangerous. What's the warning implicit in this, implied implicit in this poem? Right, we're going to look at, well, the warning implicit in the poem is that watch out for this lady, because she's going to be a bit mad when she gets old, in a good way. So I want you to copy these annotations into your poem. There's a list there of impractical things that the speaker is going to waste her money on, emphasising the idea that she isn't going to be sensible. She's going to spend her money on brandy and summer gloves and satin sandals. And run my stick along the public railings. This is sort of a naughty thing to do that she's going to do to emphasise the idea that she's going to be badly behaved. And that last line of that stanza, and learn to spit. The shortening of this line at the end of this stanza adds emphasis to the word spit. The use of monosyllabic words makes her behaviour seem even more shocking to the reader. Copy those annotations into your books. And we're going to look at a bit of language. You, the second person, direct addressed, it includes the reader and makes the feel more personal. You can wear terrible shirts and grow more fat, so it's including us in her plan. This stanza is effectively a long list and is written as one sentence. It emphasises the idea that the speaker has many, many things that she is looking forward to doing. It also suggests that she is excited and is speaking really fast. So copy those annotations into your books, please. But tells the reader that the poem has changed focus from the future to the present now. But now. So she was talking about getting old or being old previously. Positioning but at the start of the stanza signals to the reader the importance of the change. Annotate that, please, into your books, year 7. But again, the poem has changed focus, positioning but at the start of the stanza signal to the reader the importance of the change. If you start a stanza with but, everything after that is about change, isn't it? I ought to practice a little now. It's a rhetorical question, engaging the reader in the poem and getting us to agree with the speaker. It's a persuasive technique, isn't it? A rhetorical question. The word suddenly suggests that getting old is something that happens quickly. Yes. Okay, I want you to spend 10 minutes answering these questions in full sentences. And this is the, just answer these in full sentences. Why has the writer used lists to show how the speaker is going to behave? Why has the writer used a shorter line at the end of the first stanza? Why has the writer started the last 2 stanzas with the word but? Why has the writer used a rhetorical question in the line, maybe I ought to practice a little now? That's all stuff that we've gone over. So answer those 4 questions in full sentences in your books. That should take you 10 minutes. And there are some sensible responses. A list emphasizes the quantity of things that she's going to do. She's going to have fun. Why has the writer used a shorter line at the end of the first stanza? It makes the reader focus on the line, makes it more impactful. Why has the writer started the last 2 stanzas with the word but? It adds importance and significance to the speaker's change of thought from future to present. And why has the writer used a rhetorical question in the line, maybe I ought to practice a little now? Because it engages the reader and draws them into the poem, making them agree with the speaker's point. This poem shows that getting old is good fun, or certainly aspects of it are. Look at my analytical paragraph responding to this point. Right, so I've chosen the quote, you can wear terrible shirts. So the poet presents getting old as fun in the line, you can wear terrible shirts. The use of the word adjective suggests that the shirt is old-fashioned and embarrassing to wear, and the reader understands that life will be more relaxed and fun because you won't be worried about your appearance. Now, pick a quote of your own and write a paragraph like that about it. Now, this is the task that I want you to upload onto Classcharts, and as ever, your work has been stunning. Keep it up. I'm not running out of achievement points yet. So pick yourself a quote from the poem and do an analytical paragraph like the one that I've done there. Upload it onto Classcharts, and I will speak to you next time. Thank you, Year 7.